Good evening, everyone. We are going to start our meeting. Welcome to our meet and greet today. We're going to have, in fact, two parts. We'll have a very short business meeting part, and then we'll start our meet and greet. So, is the sound too loud? Yeah. Too loud, you said. Is it better? So we have a new sound system, so if it doesn't work well, please let me know, because I might not notice from here. So I will ask Becky first. Would you please come up and start us with an invocation?
Dear Lord, we come to you tonight to have a little social time and learning time that will be beneficial to each and every one of us. You know our hearts, Lord. Please stay with us and be with us. And we ask that you help us move forward with freeing the J6ers and getting President Trump elected. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much. Michael, would you start us with the pledges?
Yes, ma'am. Whatever Suzanne says. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now for the Texas pledge. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you, ma'am.
Michael. So we have a few elected officials. So let me introduce both of them, or maybe there are more that I did not see. I let you have a few words.
Well, I'm not here to run for anything, thank God, but I am unopposed. I'm Kevin Keeshik, I'm the Nueces County Assessor Collector. If this election was not important, I wouldn't be here. It's extremely important. This election is about how the appraisal district board is run. This is about the management of the board. This is about who is the chief appraiser and how the finances of that board actually run. This is very much like a school board election. This is very much like a city council election. They don't get into the appraisal piece of it, but they do deal with the lawsuits and everything that comes through that appraisal district, which are very, very numerous. I think some of those lawsuits could be reduced if we had better leadership at the appraisal district board. And I think there have been numerous issues over the last, well, I've been the tax assessor for the last, since 2012, whatever that is. I think that's 12 years now, 13. As a result of this bill, July 1st, I will become a voting member on the appraisal district board along with the 3 other candidates that you guys will elect. So I'll have a say-so. It's been a very long time since I've been able to count to 5 on that board, which has been never. And in order for us to get changes, I need to be able to count to 5. And it's for us to get better leadership in that, in the things that are happening at the appraisal district. It starts at the board level. Ronnie wants to increase the budget year after year after year, and he's gotten that. The taxpayers pay for that. And they've been not held accountable to that because there's been no elected people on that. I've been on that board as ex officio, and under the prior law, I had no vote on that. But again, come July 1st, I will have a vote on that, and I will have a say-so on that, and there will be a record vote on that. So besides me speaking up, I'll actually have a record I'll be able to stand on going forward, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to serving with the three candidates that we had out there. And I know I can't, I was told by the county attorney I can't endorse anybody, but the three people that you are talking to today are probably some people you might want to vote for. So you can read between the lines right there, and I will leave it at that, so I can keep within my legal restrictions of not being able to endorse. But anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to talk to me. The appraisal district is spending millions and millions of your dollars in legal fees, and we need to reverse that. It's too expensive. There are better things that we can be doing with those funds, and there's better solutions that we could be doing. We almost bankrupted 5 taxing jurisdictions last year as a result of the valuations for Flint Hills and Valero. And when I say bankrupted, I'm talking bankrupting the county. We almost bankrupted CCISD. We almost bankrupted Close Midway ISD. And what else am I forgetting? Oh, Del Mar. And then the other 2 taxing jurisdictions that go along with the hospital district and the Road and Bridge Fund. So I can explain to you guys about that in bigger detail maybe at another meeting, because this isn't my place. I really want you to talk to these candidates out here. This is critical. I cannot, if we were to bankrupt those 5 taxing jurisdictions, it would ruin the bond ratings probably for everybody in this entire region. And that would affect what it would cost us to borrow money in the long run. So it's extremely critical that we get this under control. So, thank you.
Thank you for being here, Kevin, and thank you for being. Michael.
One more thing. You've got to get your people to come out and vote. This is going to be an extremely low turnout vote because there really isn't anything on the ballot for that race. Cal Allen ISD has a body election. Bishop ISD has a body election, and Benketti has a body election. That's where most of the votes are going to come out for this. You've got to show up. You've got to get your people to get out and vote for these positions. Because if we don't, you're going to have those 3 taxing jurisdictions that are going to dictate who comes out, and I don't know who is going to be pushing people out in that area. I know I'll be pushed out in Cal Allen. That's where I live. I know that's where John lives. But that's a very small percentage of population. I'm predicting a 2 to 3% turnout for this vote. It's going to be very, very low. So every single vote for this absolutely counts, and that will have a dictation on how this process goes forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. I did not know I was going to speak tonight, and to follow Kevin is always difficult. But luckily I have Coach Chad and Larry in the audience, so they'll be able to tell me what I did wrong. But first I want to tell you, I think this is great for our area. I have been the only council member in the last 8 years to always vote against every tax increase. So I'm really looking forward to all these conservatives running for this position, because I know we share the same beliefs. And when we have record, like, what was it, 40% 1 year increase citywide, or 20%? That's ridiculous. And poor Keeshnik over here is worried that I'm even be able to pay my property taxes on time. But with that being said, I'm probably one of the greatest contributors by percentage, because I'm always having to find money to pay a little bit late. But we make it happen, right? We make it happen. And these appraisal values are getting out of control. So what the city does is they come in and say, well, you're not raising any taxes because the tax rate's staying the same. But your appraisal values have just spiked 18 to 25% across the city. That was just last year.
And that's an increase.
That's a huge increase. It's literally an 18 to 25% increase. And they don't tell that. They'll put it in the newspaper. They'll do everything they can to hide it. And it's disgusting. So, with that being said, you know how I feel. And I think you would know how a lot of conservatives feel. about the appraisal values, and I sure hope that y'all who are elected fight tooth and nail to give us fair appraisal values. So thank you for doing this. We really appreciate it. We all know how hard it is to run for office. It is going to be a low turnout, so y'all are going to have to work hard, a little extra hard. So thank you for doing this again, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Michael. So I know we have 4 candidates for the appraisal district. We're going to introduce them in a little while. Do we have other candidates in the room? Yeah. Oh, I didn't see you there.
Hey everybody, I met a lot of people for the first time today. Some of you I've known before. My name is Peter DiDomenico. I am running for the Flower Bluff ISD School Board of Trustees. We really need some more people in there with conservative values. I'm not going in there with an agenda. I'm going in there to give people what they want. That's my whole process I'm running on, is to give the people what they want, as long as it don't go against my personal ethics and values. So that's been all I have today. I'm Peter DiDomenico, and I'm running for the Flower Bluff ISD.
Thank you, Peter, and I know we'll see more of you. Jenny.
Yes, I came in late. Jenny Crone, I'm your Republican candidate for place 2, 13th Court of Appeals. I think I've met, hopefully, or spoken before most of y'all before. I won't take up too much of your time because I know you're here for some, these other candidates, and I travel around a lot, so I'm very judicious about, making sure everyone gets their time. But basically, just know that my campaign is running full speed ahead. I was, blessed not to have a primary opponent, but 20 counties is a big jurisdiction to cover. Spread the word. Cameron County up to Lavaca County, including obviously here in Nueces, San Pat, Aransas. It's important to spread the word. Vote for your judges. Vote down ballot. And I'd love to speak to this tonight. I can't because I'm running for a judicial position, but I have a lot of experience with appraisals, and I've had clients. I'm in private practice now that a company that's headquartered out of state actually hired me to, dispute one of their appraisals that went up more than double. So I have a lot to say about that, but I will refrain. But thank y'all. Appreciate it. Appreciate Suzanne very much and all her support. And remember me in November, 13th Court of Appeals, place 2, Jenny Crone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jenny. Brandy, you're representing.
Okay. Hi, I am Brandy Beatty. I am not running for anything. I am here representing Jimmy Granberry, our district attorney. He was supposed to be here with me tonight, but we had a conflict in the schedule and didn't realize it, so he is actually at the Pregnancy Center fundraiser down at the American Bank Center. I have known Jimmy pretty much just since he was actually appointed by Governor Abbott. I was also, I guess I should say first, I'm Precinct 65 chair for the Republican Party. I'm former vice chair of the Republican Party under Michael Bergsma. And like I said, I'm helping Jimmy Granberry. He was appointed by the governor in October. And since he's been in office, he has really taken down the caseload that was backed up thanks to our former district attorney and gang member. There was a lot of mess for him to clean up, and he is really doing a great job in there. I just want to ask for your vote in May at the runoff. It's a very important race. It's a very powerful position in our county. This would be the first time that we would elect a Republican district attorney in Nueces County. So that would be amazing to have happen this year. So anyway, I ask for your vote in the runoff. I believe he is the best candidate to give us a go to take out Terry Shamsey would be our opponent on the Democratic side. And the last thing we need after Mark Gonzalez is Terry Shamsey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brandy. Yes, absolutely.
And about Jimmy Granberry. So yesterday, my office did a coordinated raid with the CCPD on a towing company that was involved in heavy and auto theft. And the person has pretty much pled out on these things and already admitted to the charges of trying to transfer vehicles under that were stolen. And the first thing he said after he pointed to the officer was, well, I'm just gonna call Mark Gonzalez because I know he'll get me off. He clearly has been living under a rock. And Jimmy is pursuing these charges for us. And this is the first time in 8 years we've had, with all the motor vehicle fraud and theft and things we see in my office day in and day out, because I handle motor vehicle also. We're finally getting somewhere, and CCPD is going after these things because we have a DA who is actually prosecuting crime. So I see it as a huge plus. It's nice to finally have a DA who is supporting law enforcement, and it's about time because we've had way too much of this criminal activity going on for years and years. And so anyway, I have to say it because I'm experiencing it and seen it, and we're prosecuting it. I'm seeing this on a first-hand basis. So, there you go.
Yeah. Thank you for your testimony. Yes. Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Larry Elizondo. I announced for City Council at large, so that means that includes obviously the island. I'm excited about the fact that the people are going to have a voice in this election coming up on May the 4th. It's important. It's critical. The tax situation is truly out of control. I want to echo what Michael and Kevin, of which I've served with both, actually with Kevin, way back when Kevin was on City Council. And he can attest to the fact that I am very conservative. Whenever we can have an opportunity to roll the taxes back, we want to do that. And don't get confused. They sometimes disguise it as fees. That's also a three-letter word, fee. It's tax and fee, three-letter word, the same thing. It applies to everyone. And I'd like to do away with a lot less fees and a lot less tax, and giving back the voice to the people and having them, actually have some buy-in in this and how we are going to be assessing moving forward. So thank you so much. Name is Larry Elizondo.
Thank you. Anyone else ready to talk? Nope. Nope. Okay.
My name is Irene. I'm actually nobody. I just live in the county. And I happen to have a degree in composite engineering. And I'm glad to see Kevin here. I have a question. This city has a lot of multi-floors property, high-rises, which are 60 or even 70 years old. These are office buildings, and these are also apartments and condo associations. One of these buildings, for instance, is Atlantic. But there are many other buildings. I actually looked at these buildings as a buyer to buy a condo for myself. And when you talk to the association, to the property manager, they will produce you a report. Yes, our building is 70 years old, but it is solid. It will stand here for another 70 years. Well, I'm an engineer. I'm an expert. I studied this type of mechanics for aircrafts. No, it will not. And when you drive by, and I actually every day I drive by, I see these cracks growing. Your appraisal district. Who? Okay, taxes collector. But you should know who takes care of the property. There should be a department in the county, in the city. Well, there is county, there is property outside of the city, which evaluates the properties. I mean, I don't know how these reports were produced. I live in one of these associations. They will produce you a report saying, we had an engineer here last month and everything is perfect. I'm an expert. I know it's not. And one day you said that the county almost went bankrupt. If, God forbid, we have the tragedy as happened in Florida with this kind of building, we all will be bankrupt.
That is code compliance.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
I
yeah.
assume it's
So-
not elected official, it's probably
Yeah.
official.
So, and if we can, we will ask either Kevin to answer this question or even some of our candidates when we get to the debate. So yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll try to address that at the end of the meeting. So, yeah. Do we have a few other first-time attendees here, not counting the candidates? We have a no thank you. Just a few, yeah, you were entering.
Hi everyone, my name is Chad Magill. I'm the vice chair for the Nueces County Republican Party. I'm a big fan of everything that y'all do here on the island. Obviously the island votes, right? And the island's very important. Out of the 129 precincts 40 and 81 regularly have more Republicans show up per capita than any other. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but it's proven in numbers. You have more Republicans versus Democrats showing up on the island every election. So I'll tell you another thing too. So when you compare primaries, I'm the nerd, the data guy for the party, right? So 2020, that's a presidential primary, and 2024. In the 2020 presidential primary, Republicans had a majority of only 22 precincts and 127 precincts in Nueces County. Now, the good thing is, out on the island, Calallen, and somewhere, a couple on the south side of Ocean Drive, those are the big boxes, so the Republicans could compete. I'll tell you right now, Suzanne knows this, 22 precincts, oh, you got it up there? Okay, 22 precincts, I don't want to steal your thunder anymore.
No.
Okay, 22 precincts, we had majority in 2020 and 2024, this past primary, just in March, we have 73 precincts majority, and we were 2-1 versus Democrats. So, thank you. So all the work that Suzanne's doing, all the precinct chairs, and Brandy and Mary Lancaster right here, our precinct chairs, they're doing a great job. So thank you.
And the party itself. So we'll get to that pretty soon. We can go back. So, any other first-time attendees? I think I saw some. Mary, you already spoke.
My name's Leon. Nice to meet y'all.
Welcome.
Welcome, Leon.
Yes, I know, but at our on the island, that's your
Definitely. I'm Mary Lancaster. I'm from precinct number 93.
So I would like first to thank all of you who are here tonight for being here. As you know, tonight is a very difficult night. Our date was set up several months ago, before we even knew there was going to be an election regarding the appraisal district and then a runoff. So tonight we have the competition of the annual fundraiser of the pregnancy center with Cudd Cameron. We have a big event on the island, from a big fundraiser from the Rotary Club, the Island Rotary Club, and the city announced just 3 days ago that they were having a town hall on a seawall project that nobody has ever heard about, so everybody wanted to go and hear what that big project was. So we have a lot of competition, so thank you for having chosen to be here. I would also like to thank Commissioner Brent Chesney, who is at another one of the events, for sponsoring our effort for this appraisal district race. So here just a few words. Our hours until the Labor Day are going to be irregular, but we still do need help to man our office, to help for the appraisal district and the runoffs. We will not do any block walking this time. What we will do is man systematically the polls on election day and as much as we can during early voting. So we need your help for that. We have two things that we have for that. We have yard signs, like this. I would like each and every one of you to take one before you go home and put it in your yard. It's important if you have some friends or family who are willing to put one too, please take more. We have signs and stakes there, and we'll have much more of those at the headquarters, so please take yours. We also have voter guides. You have them on your table. They are two-sided. One side is the appraisal district, the green side, and the yellow side is for the runoff. So please take some also and distribute them around you. And also please help us spread the word by posting them on the social media. That's very important. And you don't need to put both sides at the same time. Let's start with the appraisal district and then we'll do the runoff. So we also have a few of our God bless President Trump sign in the back, and we have the bigger one in the office. So please there to get some and post them around. So upcoming events, as you know, we have gone monthly since the March primaries until our summer break, which will be started from July to end of August. We'll restart weekly meeting after Labor Day. So we have two weekly meetings left until the summer. One is going to be on May 9. I will not be there, I'll be out of town. And Barbara Jen again will be leading that meeting. And then many of us will be going to the state convention. And then on June 27, we have a great speaker. I hope many of you have heard about him. He's one of the world experts on Marxism and communism. Trevor Loudon, his topic will be the American Communist Revolution. That's what we are living right now, without naming it. The border and how we fight back. So that should be a very interesting meeting. I hope you can all attend, and please talk about it around you and invite people. It's amazing. So for those who don't know, every Monday night we still have our movie nights. So now let's talk a little bit, as Chad started, about the result of the election, because it was a big victory for everyone in the coastal band and on the island, and generally speaking in Texas. So first, just regarding the races, in the primaries, as you know, we supported 14 candidates, 13 propositions. We won 100% of them. All 13 propositions passed. Out of our candidates, 12 won their nomination right off that, and 2 are in a runoff. So let's finish the job on May 28th. So, Chad talked a little bit about it, and that's very important. We have a very interesting number that you need to know about. 2020 on the island, at least we thought we had done pretty good. We are pretty proud of ourselves. So here's why. Texas had 16 million registered voters, 4 million turned out to vote, which is 25%. Out of those, pretty much 50% were Republicans, and the other 50% were Democrats. Nueces County, I didn't have time to search the registered voters, but we had 40,000 voters. Out of those, 17,000 were Republicans, which was 43%, and 23,000, almost 57%, were Democrat. On the island, we had, out of 8,000 registered voters, 2,457 went to vote, which is about 30%. I forgot to put the percentage. 1,682 were Republicans, which was 68%, so we were pretty proud. And 775 were Democrat, which was only 32%, so less than half of the Republicans. So, let's check out what happened in 2024. Texas had 17.9 million voters, 3.2 went to vote, 18% turnout, which is quite a lot less than last time. 72% voted, that is wrong. No, that's right. 70% voted Republican and only 28% voted Democrat. In Nueces County, we had 33,000 voters, 43% this time. I'm sorry, my numbers here are wrong. They are wrong. Do you remember what they are, Chad, by chance? The Nueces County, I know I inverted the numbers. Those are the numbers from 2020. Somehow I did not update my numbers.
So it was.
So you know the person.
Republicans in 24 was about 23,000.
Yeah.
And Democrats were 11,800.
Yeah, exactly. I know that somehow I left the 2020 numbers. So on the island, we had 8,400 voters, 28% turnout, 88% of those were Republican, and only 12% were Democrat. This is really amazing. And as you know, the higher you go in percentage, whether it is participation or the spread between Republicans and Democrats, the harder every point to get is. So this is an incredible improvement. So here's the comparison that's much better. So turnout in Texas went from 25% in 2020 to 18% this year, which was a decrease of 22%. But the number of Republicans who voted went from 50% to 72%, which is a 22% increase. And the reverse, of course, for the Democrats, as they were 50-50. Nueces County had a huge improvement from 43%, which was way in the minority, to 65%, which is way in the majority in the county. So that was a huge shift to suddenly gain the majority in the county. On the island, turnout went like everywhere down from 31% to 28%, but we only went down by 6%. But the interesting thing, like everywhere, the increase was on the Republican side, where we went from 68% to 88%, and the decrease, which explains why the turnout was lower, from 32% to 12%. So that is everywhere a very, very interesting change. And I'm proud that the island played its role in the consequences. So, 3 things I want to mention before we go to our meet and greet. First, J6, the arrests have continued, as you know. We are now almost 4 years later, and there have been 122 arrests just this year until April 5th, which was more than in 2023, where we had only 17, and 2022, where we had 50. So they don't relent, they keep going after whoever they can get for whatever they will do, and nearly 7 in 10 guilty pleas have been for misdemeanor, but they don't care. We keep harassing and intimidating people. So that is dramatic. Number of illegals. In March, there have been 189 official illegal alien encounters. So, finally, the Texas State House, some lawmakers have proposed a contract with Texas to end the liberal dysfunction. The group is calling on the next Speaker of the House to implement a series of 12 reforms, and I would like all of you to ask our State Representative, Todd Hunter, to sign up on those because they are all very important. One is only solicit support for speakership from Republican members. As you know, so far they've always asked the Democrats to help choose our Republican speaker. Number 2, end the practice of awarding Democrats with committee chairmanships. 3, ensure all GOP legislative priorities receive a floor vote before any Democrat bills. Number 4, replace the current liberal parliamentarians with staff committed to only offering advice on adherence to House rules, not to advancing their personal ideology. 5, limit the Speaker to 2 terms to reduce their power. 6, ensure there are no longer any Democrat majority committees. 7, stop parliamentary abuse by requiring only substantial adherence to House rules. 8, allow audio-video recording of all House proceedings, including point of order debates. 9, start substantive work as soon as session begins to end delays that keep priority legislation. As you know, the House does not work, in fact, for the first 90 days, so that's to stop that. Allow reform calendars committee, select a Republican as Speaker pro tempore, and decentralize power by prohibiting the distribution of political funds from the Speaker. So all those are very important and would really change the culture in our Texas State House. So please send all of you that to our state representative and ask him to sign on it. Sorry, wrong way. And that's it for me. I would like now to say a few words about the race. Kevin has been very informative on this, so I won't talk much more. I just want really to stress the importance of this election again. It's going to be, as everybody said, a very low turnout, because that's the first time it happened. But it's very important. Until now, all the board members were, except the ex-officio Kevin, were appointed by the taxing entities, which is the city, the county, the school board. So they owed the favor to the entities who are appointing them, right? So now, for the first time, we are going to have 3 members that are elected by us, the voters, the taxpayers, so they will be accountable to us. So if we have 3, last Kevin, that will be 4, and hopefully we can find a 5th one, we will completely change the culture of the appraisal district with all the consequences it has. As Kevin mentioned, they don't appraise your properties. They don't review your taxes if you complain. But they do set up the policies of the board, and they do elect its chair. So we have a great role. So please do go vote. One more thing, you might have seen it already online. The 3 candidates that we endorsed signed our pledge to the voters, which was mainly focusing on improving the transparency of that board. Right now, nobody knows how they make their decisions, who is pushing for what, who does not pay tax properties, and that makes a big difference. So thank you to all those candidates who have signed that, and we hope that all that will be done. So we're going to start our meet and greet. We have a 4th candidate who is here, Ken Baker. And thank you for being here. He was the only other one. I sent our vetting questionnaire to all 11 candidates. In fact, only 9, because there are 2 for which I could not find no phone numbers or emails, but I sent it to all other 9. Ken was one of the only one who answered it, and 3 more called back, said they would, but never did. So thank you very much, and same for today. I invited all the candidates again to come, because even though we have endorsed, because elections start in 10 days, we always strive to give a platform to all the Republicans who are running, so that's why we invite everybody. So if you would please come here, this is going to be your table for the meet and greet. Yeah, please. Absolutely. So, as you know, we normally have a very good moderator for the debate and humans, but luckily he had already a commitment for tonight and could not be with us. So I will do my best to moderate the debate tonight. So the way we will work, we will start with an opening statement from each of the candidates. So you have 3 minutes to say who you are, why you're running, whatever you want, and then we will have questions, and then, so each time we will start with the next one, so it's not always the same who starts and finishes, and then we will end with an ending statement. So if you would like to get started, we have a microphone here to share between all of you. Those microphones require you to speak pretty close to the microphone to work.
I knew it in the start on the end. I'm the first one. My name is Ken L. Baker. I am a retired Texas State Game Board captain. I have 41 years of service, public service, under the state. I retired back in 2012, and I ran a district office in Brownsville. The district office in Brownsville was the only one in the Rio Grande Valley. I supervised some 16 officers. I supervised an office personnel. In the office that I supervised, I brought in a lot of state money revenue in terms of license sales, but also in sales tax sales. That office on a yearly basis brought in about $1 million. And that $1 million was all state money. And on a monthly basis, I was audited by the state auditor, that office. And in my 41-year career, I never failed the state audit. So I know a lot about state government. I know a lot about government as a whole. My ex-boss, who is Colonel Pete Flores, he is a state senator out of Pleasant. And I keep real close contact with him. By the way, he's a Republican. I may add that to it. He's awful proud of that. But also, the reason why I ran for this office is because I could see some irregularities. You know, in talking with my neighbors, you know, they weren't completely satisfied with what was going on. And so some of my neighbors asked me, I said, hey, Baker, you're retired, you got plenty of time. Why don't you run for that office? I said, you have the expertise, you have the experience in dealing with the government, in dealing with budgets, dealing with personnel, everything. So that is the reason why I'm here today. And I would like to thank you for inviting me. Thank you very much. And there's probably more that I could add to what I just said. And I'll think about that once the microphone gets done.
Hello, my name is John M. Cudd. I'd like to thank Suzanne and Chad and everybody for showing up and giving us a platform to speak today. Been in the oil business since 1980. Run several oil companies, owned several oil companies. I own houses in several states. I own multiple properties in Nueces County. I've had multiple dealings with the appraisal district. None of them good. None of them good. I give you for instance, you guys realize property taxes in Nueces County on a house, let's say $800,000 is 2.5 times what a $800,000 house is in California. Literally 2.5 times. Wow. Yeah, I mean, unreal. We are playing catch me if you can at the appraisal district, and enough's enough. I mean, this is the reason I'm running. I show up, I argue with them, and they'll give me a comparison on a house 6 miles away. Okay, my mother passed away in 2005. I kept her property, still have it. With no homestead, her property went up 250% in 4 years. I went down to the tax office. They said, oh, our mistake. They lowered it back down. But for 4 years, I just wasn't paying attention. I just paid the taxes, like most people do, and most people that have a mortgage. It's a few bucks a month. They don't pay attention to it. You know, just what's another 20 bucks in my payment? You know, it adds up, and it's time to, you know, for us to do something about it. And it starts with the rules. It starts with regulations. It starts with transparency. It starts with oversight. And that's why I'm running. You know, I said at the last meeting, you know, there's nobody more motivated than an angry taxpayer. That's me. You know, I've had enough. I do have a dog in the fight, and I appreciate y'all's time. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is James Magill. I'm running for the Nueces County Appraisal District Board Place 1. And I just want to thank Suzanne for putting this together and everything that she's been doing. I have an idea of how hard she's worked in the past, but I have no idea how hard she works for every side of every election. And more importantly, I want to thank my fiance for being here. It's the first event that we've been to together since this quick undertaking of this short election that we are really going to be needing everybody's votes for. Get out to the polls and vote. We're going to be talking tens, hundreds of votes. And it is very important that we get out there with this situation that we are in here with the appraisal district. So the three things that I'm really focused on that took a lot of time to think about is mainly the periodic reappraisal. In the state of Texas, we don't have to reappraise properties every year. we can do that one time out of every 3 years. Why not do biannually? Why not do one time every 3 years? And that, to me, is a really big key point of what we could do to get that control. To quote Mr. Kieschnick over here, is we got to take that control of these property values, and they're just getting out of hand. And with that, I would like to instill advisory boards on multiple levels, more oversight, as Mr. Cudd would say, and at that, the commercial advisory board that is non-existent from my knowledge, being very well aware of commercial property values here in Corpus Christi and the Nueces County. Then, most importantly of all, transparency to people. I was up there paying my taxes this January, and I'm just hearing behind me everybody talk about having zero clue. I'm talking a 60-year-old woman who has zero clue that she can protest her taxes, and understanding the process and understanding where to start. And I just want to see that be more of a comfortable scenario for everybody in Nueces County to understand where they can use their rights that they are given to take control back of their property taxes that have gotten out of hand in Nueces County. Now, a little backstory myself. I've been a real estate agent for the past going on 8 years now, and this is my livelihood. This is what I do for a living. This is what pays the bills, is property valuations. And at that, I want to go and instill some expert knowledge of what it looks like to value property realistically, comparing on many different levels, other than just what the state says, even so, or even what the comptroller says, but to a realistic level of multiple approaches that can be taken to get to a realistic value. So, therefore, just wanted to ask for your vote for my place at Nueces County Appraisal District Board, Place 1. My name is James McGill, and I am a full-time real estate agent here that values properties regularly on a regular basis and understands it from the front to the back. So, thank you guys.
My name is Ed Bennett. I'm a certified public accountant as well as a certified fraud planner. I served 6 years as a
Don't touch me. Why are you touching me? Get out of my personal space. This isn't a private event. I talked to the place. They said you didn't pay for the room. And she lied to me, and she lied to my family, and she lied to 4 other couples downstairs and said this was a private event. She kicked us all out. And I've talked to some beautiful people here, and this is not a private event. Don't touch me. Get out of my space. I'm not engaging you. No. 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 This isn't an event. This is an open bar that you squatted on. Didn't pay the $400 for the room, and she's been mean to multiple people downstairs, including my family. So you're gonna come over here and attack me because you're contract. I don't stop. Go away. I don't care. This isn't a private event. If it was a private event, then you should have paid the $400. She was mean to me and my family. I'm getting back there. You got a problem taking up with this lady right here made all of us downstairs lie to us about what was going on up here. You're a liar. You lied to us. True or false?
Okay, keep it up. Everybody,
no, I'm not going to keep it up.
Keep it up. Everybody can judge what you're doing. Absolutely. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Sorry for that.
Sir. I'm not listening. Please. No. Go get the manager.
Go ahead, Ed. Keep going.
Okay, let's keep going.
30 seconds.
I do apologize for that.
That did not count in your time.
I'll start over. My name's Ed Bennett. I'm a certified public accountant as well as a certified fraud examiner. I served 6 years at the Del Mar College region. I'm running for place number 3. Now, what the board does, be recorded.
If you pay taxes in this county, you should probably be.
The primary focus of the board is the budget and the policies. My expertise is budget and policies. I've dealt with budgets for almost 50 years. I have undergraduate and graduate degrees in addition to my certifications. Policies, I spent 6 years at Del Mar. I know what bad policies look like. And I also know how to see through management's erroneous assumptions. And trust me, there are many erroneous assumptions that management presents to all the elected officials in this county. So why am I running? I've got time, I've got expertise, and I have a background of caring about the people of the county. We will be representing, we the elected people, the 3 elected positions will be representing the people of the county, not the taxing districts. What always bothered me when I was at Del Mar was that their emphasis was we didn't increase the tax rate. Well, that doesn't matter when your taxes just increased by 12%, does it? So, I want fair policies, we want zero-based budgeting, and we want strong oversight. And that's why I'm running. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I would like to ask all those who have some questions. This is the time. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and I will come to you with the microphone. Questions? Anyone?
Controversial, but anecdotally, I understand that many people who leave these positions who represent us then go on to work for organizations where they make money fighting the taxes. So it feels like those people are on the board, they raise the taxes, they move over, and then we pay them to help arbitrate our taxes. Are any of you, would you commit to not then moving on to a position where you've made money after you have this influential position by, because it seems like they raise our taxes and then they go to an organization that helps lower our taxes, they get 40% of what they save us. It seems like a racket. Or can you all commit that you would not move on to make money by fighting the tax rates that you help install?
I would commit to that, and I know you wouldn't work. I've been self-employed my entire life. I'm not going to work for anybody.
Awesome.
So.
By the way, if I can, before I let everybody else answer, I don't know if you noticed the last point of their pledge is to personally and publicly advocate for serious, real, and lasting property tax reform for all of the Texas taxpayers.
I've been on fixed income for quite a few years, and I'm going to stay that way. I'm not going to make any money doing anything for anybody, period.
Well, I would say the point of us here today, doing what we're doing and trying to represent the community, is to keep the tax values down that we see that there already is a problem with. So the goal here would be not to have the appraised values being raised to where the people that you're speaking of that are making money off of the difference of the increase would be out of a job. So if we are successful here in everything that we are running for and trying to do here, which I passionately believe we are, those people will be less available and we wouldn't have a job after this to do that if we are successful.
So do you commit to not taking one of those jobs?
Yes, ma'am. That's right there written down. So.
Not only will I make that commitment, but I'll take it one step further. I'll propose a policy that we can't, as board members, accept a position until after 2 years, after 2 years after we left.
Never. Never.
Will never be good. I'm sure that.
Never.
Thank you.
Questions?
Oh, yes. Man. Hold on. When I moved to Ireland, I was very happy about the property taxes. Very happy. Right now I'm thinking sell the house because it's ridiculous. So who would you, before I gotta go and do with my dog, who really wants to cut break? Because every year supposed to be lower, every year come up. So I really don't trust anymore nobody about the property taxes, and I have reason. You know, I really, it's like, I'm from Missouri, show me. Because I don't know if I'm gonna go vote. I'm gonna go vote for President Trump because I'm blaming Biden for every single thing what's happened right now. Nobody but Biden, but you know, the trusting to the people, because before, for a couple of years, oh, we cut the taxes, and taxes raise more and more and more. And to the point I was thinking to sell the house right now, because with my mortgage, with my everything, rescue animals, everything, I'm done.
There's actually people leaving Nueces County because the property taxes are too high, okay? We will not set the property taxes. Right. So I just want you to understand that. So, you know, I'm running for place 2, he's 1, he's 3. I believe Ken's 1, 3, okay. Well, we will not set the property taxes, but you are correct. There are people that are leaving Nueces County because they can't afford the property taxes, okay? I caught their appraiser in front of my house this a couple of years ago. Right. And we live in the city limits, but we're still out in the country, okay? And I think I was trimming trees by the road, pulled over on Lake Bennett. You realize we have no drainage, no sidewalks, no sewage. You know, it's $1 million house. We don't have any of that stuff though, okay? And he said, yeah, no, I get it. And basically I said, where do you live? He said, Santat County.
Got buyer.
He said, I can't afford to live in Nueces County. This is a gentleman that helps appraise the property. And he doesn't live in Nueces County.
What's happening? What's the matter? They come because it's not on the private bank.
Always entertainment. So the answer to your question is, I'm not sure about Ed. I have a dog in the fight. He has a dog in the fight. Raising taxes, anybody raising taxes hurts us. Okay, I mean, it hurts us, it hurts our family. I have children that live in Nueces County, own property. You know, it hurts them. So I'm running to see if I have any influence on stopping this from happening. Okay, that's why I'm running, right?
Like the break or something. I mean, I'm not going to go sell it right now this point or something, but I think so next year or next 2 years I will be forced to sell it.
No, I understand. I understand that we're all in a similar boat with you. Everybody in this room.
Especially I double the mortgage, right now it's done because I want to pay off faster, for example.
No, I'm with you. When you go to sell that house, for what the appraisal district has it appraised for, you're not going to get that for it. Because they have it appraised for too much. And that's what we need to work on. And these are things we need to work on. But again, I got a dog in the fight. I'm running for place 2. I'm right with you. I own property, a lot of property in Nueces County. So I feel your pain, and I'm with you.
To touch on your question, I mean, essentially my business that I do daily is real estate sales. And at that, it is not much different in the sense when I'm seeing people go get approved for a mortgage, and then 5 days before closing, they put in the tax values that are coming in on a new construction home that maybe weren't calculated because it wasn't finished, and then it comes in finished. At that point, that tax value that is for the entire area for the new construction homes will affect the buyer and not be able to be approved to buy that property, even after they've spent money to, you know, for appraisal and all fees to go into the loan. So I've seen this firsthand where these appraisal values just do not help out with our population growth or with our community and moving into a positive direction. In the sense that the mortgage value that you're speaking about, and every year when the taxes are reappraised, that goes back towards something that you have to pay monthly. So if it's increased every single year, the mortgage is not going to be fixed. The mortgage is going to increase, and it could, for somebody like yourself, that we probably value here in the community to stay here to leave because they can't afford to do so. For instance, my fiance and I have a neighbor, and this past year we watched her almost get taxed out of her home. And if it wasn't for some help that I had assisted her with, some other people, and getting her some help or getting these protested values, she would have had to move back home after being here for 15 years because she could not afford it. And she knows that home is cheaper than it is here. So I see that entirely daily in my business when I live. And I think that that's essentially why I am so passionate about this position.
Just to clarify, my taxes are frozen. I can't benefit one dime from this position. I'm here to fight for the taxpayers, not for me. Whatever I do has no impact on me financially. Now, I have witnessed the taxing authorities, when you compare them to the other districts in Texas, we are way off the bell curve. And for instance, I served at Del Mar. Del Mar's tax rate was double what the average community college tax rate in Texas is. How much sense does that make? They're all doing the same thing. So, are our taxes high? They're outrageous. What can we do about them as a board member? We can set fair policy. We can look at the budget under a microscope, and we can advocate for the people that are our constituents, you, the taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you.
I myself am on a fixed income. If my valuation of my house goes up, that means less money for me. So I can see your point. You know, I'll give you an example. The neighbor down the street, they were in the process of buying a house. Well, the house was appraised so high that the bank would not even loan the money for what it was appraised for. So that's just an example. You know, it's I can't promise you your taxes are going to go down, by no means. But I will say this, it will be fair. We will demand it be fair. And if not, then someone's getting a reevaluation of what they're doing in their job, period. And I'll say that.
Thank you. So we go to the next question, and by the way, on this, I know personally, my taxes this year have gone up by 50% of the whole price of my house 7 years ago that I bought.
Yeah, that's right.
Hold on, I have two persons before you. Sorry. Question?
I assume we will elect three of you for 2 years. So I have a question. Number one, while running for this position, have you evaluated what is your power and what is your leverage on the background of the Texas regulation? Because there are regulations of the state or laws of the state which the county cannot violate. So the question is, have you evaluated this? And did you find what you can do and what you cannot do? And what do you expect in 2 years to achieve? Will it be lower appraisal? Will it be lower taxes? And how will you act on this? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Our power will be in numbers. It will be to vote. We will have the vote, which is why you guys are electing us, so we will have the vote. The answer to your question is, honestly, in 2 years, it depends on how it goes. You know, it depends on who gets in these positions. If Democrats get in these positions, it's going to be more of the same. Nothing's going to change. As my understanding, 2 of us have the right to have a say on who's on the board, who's appointed. So if two of us get together and we decide that they're not getting on the board, we keep doing that until we get somebody that we accept. We can keep doing that, and we can shift the power of the board. But when we get on the board, it will not be all Republican. We will be the minority. We will have to use what power we have in numbers to try and shift this. Will we be able to shift it in 2 years? I'll be honest with you, hopefully. I hope so. I can't promise you that though, but I hope so.
Did you look at the regulations of the state of Texas to evaluate what would be your power?
I'm sorry.
She would like to know what your powers are according to the regulation. You want to answer that?
Upon my assessment of everything, looking at what the powers are, I believe that the most important thing that we can really push for as a team and work together for as we inflict on policy and procedure only, we do not go out and evaluate properties, the periodic reappraisal. So we do not have to reappraise properties in any county in the state of Texas more than one time out of every 3 years. Now, think about the waves that would create if we were to reappraise properties one time out of every 3 years. Maybe they go up, maybe they go down, but the budgeting for the staff having to reappraise properties every single year is going to continuously get expensive every single year. As inflation and the economy and everything that is going up, we have to afford to pay these people to do so. Now, taking control of this just hike that we're going on, I feel that we could really take control of that with the periodic reappraisal that is allowable by the state to be done in any county in the state of Texas, which we are not doing here. So that would solve a lot of the problems, and that's one thing that I'm really pushing for, that I've figured out what can be done and make the biggest impact. And it takes a team to do so.
Individually, a board member has absolutely no authority. We need 5 votes. That's why it's important that we get a coalition in there. We need 5 conservative votes. What are we going to accomplish in 2 years? Well, if we have 5 votes, we're going to accomplish a lot. We can rewrite all those policies. We want fair policies. We don't want them skewed one way or the other. We want fair policies. Fair budgets.
You cannot rewrite policies of the state, even if there are 8 of you. There are state policies.
The board policies have to comply with all state and federal laws. Those would supersede the board policy, so they have to comply. But where there's any wiggle room at all, we, the board members, 5 of us, at least 5, takes majority, can rewrite these policies to be fair and conservative. We need 5 people in there. We've got 3 running. We need 2 more, and I think we can get them. I have a strong feeling we can. Thank you.
The state comptroller's office is the one that, in essence, sets the rules for the appraisal district, and you have to adhere to those rules as they are set. Now, that does not mean that we just turn a blind eye to the state comptroller. We can disagree with him and use your elected officials to add more clout to our disagreement. Okay. Now, the chief appraiser for the appraisal district works at the will of the board. If 5 members of the board say you're not doing your job after evaluating him for what he's doing, he can be removed with 5 people if they so want to. Okay. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much. I think that was a very important question, and yes, I don't think there is any state or federal laws that says you have to keep increasing the value of the properties every single year. I don't think that exists. But that's what they have been doing. So having finally a majority of 5, and if we have 3 board members that are willing, plus the ex officio cabinet committee, that's already 4, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to find a 5th, and suddenly things will start changing. So they have to follow the law, but there's a lot they will be able to do. Other question, I think you were next.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Suzanne, for organizing this, and for you all folks for being here. I guess my request of you is for you all to reach a much broader audience than the people in this room. So I read an article in Allen Moon about, I guess, one of the candidates for this, and I understand from Susan that's not you all, who said, well, I come from this background and this way, and I have a balanced perspective. And I guess my interpretation of what the legislature intended with this law is not a balanced perspective, but somebody who's a strong advocate for taxpayers, which has never been in place before. So I don't want balanced perspective, I want taxpayer advocates. So I guess my request is, and I'd like each of you to say yay or nay, can you reach out to Dale Rankin at the Allen Moon and say, well, here's my philosophy, here's my perspective, here's what I would go try and do if I were elected to the board, so that we all hear from you, and not just the people in this room, that everybody who reads the Allen Moon hears from you. Here's what we would do if we were elected to this board. And I think that gives a lot broader audience to the people who are going to vote in this, I think, May election.
Thank you.
Can I add to that?
Oh, sorry. You were next
Huh?
to start. We were taking.
I've conducted numerous public hearings on new laws. Matter of fact, they were mandated by law across the state. And as elected officials, the 3 that are elected, if it's within the boundaries of the law, they can have, in essence, a town meeting where the taxpayers can voice their concerns or even voice their suggestions. It's something that can be looked into. Because we work, elected official works at the will of the people, period. And he's supposed to represent the people that he elected, that elects him. That's what they're supposed to do. They should do. I would.
On the Allen Moon, call Dale Rankin, do an interview, give him your statement.
I would.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm well-rounded. I'm definitely Republican and pro-taxpayer.
We all.
It doesn't get any more simple than that. So, there you go.
Yes, I will reach out to Dale Rankin.
I'm not well-rounded. I'm not even going to pretend. My background is accounting, and they're all conservative. Will I reach out to them? I'll reach out to anybody. Right. Who's my constituents? My constituents are the voters. Historically, the constituents for all the board members have been the taxing authorities. Is that a problem? This is going to, well, it's not going to cure it, but it's certainly going to be fixed. And I think we've got 3 here and 1 other that are conservative. And I know some of the board members, and I know some of them are conservative as well. So the coalition of 5 is not far off. Thank you.
So thank you for this question. I think that's very important. And for sure, I don't think any of you are from the island, but while I know we have an important impact on the island, I know Dale Rankin did reach out to us recently to say, well, we really should talk and try to have a unified position on the endorsement. So I said, yeah, as you know, my priority is not just to have representative who will be fair for the island, but also that they have conservative Republicans. But I'm sure if you are willing to focus on conservative Republicans, we can agree on our endorsement. So yes, I would encourage all of you to go and speak with Dale Rankin.
But regardless of whether they're Democrat or Republican, just being willing to put the position in writing, which is what Dale always offers.
Absolutely.
So, who cares what their position is? Just solidify it so that people can make an informed choice.
And that's why he wants us to unify our position. But I had still to say, I'm willing to unify it, but for me, they still need to be, because there's a Republican group to be a Republican. So, Mark.
My name is Mark. I'm a political and economic refugee from the state. People's Republic, Revolutionary Republic of California. No. Is there anybody here that can't hear me?
Yeah.
We hear you fine.
We did.
About 25 years ago, California was faced with the same situation that Texas is in now. In that, you could have bought your house for about $20,000. And your neighbors on each side of you could have bought their houses 10, 15 years later for $225,000, which made your house that you bought for $20,000 taxable now for $225,000 in property value. It was literally forcing people to sell their house and move into rentals because they could no longer afford property tax. Is it time for the state of Texas to have a proposition type 13?
No.
Gentlemen?
Since I actually own a house in California, and I am selling it, not because of the taxes, because exactly what you just said, it's worth twice what I paid for it, it's not a cash out. You know. Remember though, when you're talking about Texas doing this, California has personal property tax. That's where they make up their shortfalls in their appraisal tax. In other words, that $800,000 house, okay, that's taxes are around $8,000 and they're 16, 18 years, okay. They're making up that property tax and that personal income tax, which we all know all the people coming over across the border they're gonna make all that up for us. I'm being sarcastic. But so in answer to your question, you know, you can't have one without kind of really looking at, do we want a personal income tax in Texas? Of course not.
And let's
You know,
think
so-
about what happens to our children when they want to go. So what happens is it locks in for people who are already there, that early comers are paying less than their share for public services. And now my child comes of age with his wife and he wants to buy a house. He's picking up the difference. It should be a fair appraisal process and a fair tax process, and locking it in because you got there first. Now everybody, you said this, you're pushing people out instead of inviting people in.
What's fair?
What's fair is everybody's appraisal. I get when you're 65, lock in as a senior citizen, but if you got here 20 years before your neighbor, should you be paying half the taxes that a neighbor is for the same services?
What they're doing in California isn't right. I'll tell you that. That's why everybody's moving here. So if we're going to compare anything to California, I probably would not agree to it, and I will not agree to it, to try to reflect anything that they're doing over there. But as you did mention in your statement, as far as your property being 20,000, these two being 200,000, how do you evaluate that? You know, years later, that's what I do for a living, and I'm an expert at it. So I can make sure that the ARB board is understanding and appraising property correctly with the help of all of us on the board setting the right policies and procedures to make a fair assessment. So, I think I mentioned that correctly.
And does the board won't set this policy, right? This is a state discussion on tax.
That's exactly right. We're running for the Nueces County Board.
That's right.
And whatever the state does, they're gonna do without our input, and they're not gonna consult us. So, you know, my personal feelings on that are almost completely irrelevant. However, again, I'll say, and I'll reiterate what's been said here, we want taxes to be fair. And right now, they're not. They're outrageous. So we want fair taxes, we want to represent our constituents. We don't want the other elected officials to say, we didn't raise your tax rate. We want them to be honest, make them raise the tax rate, and then vote them out. Thank you.
In California, 26% of the homeless people of the whole United States is in California. And taxes is one of the main reasons. Oh, and I do not want Texas to go in the direction that they're going. Won't say any more than that.
So I think we have time for one last question, if we have one. If not, we will go to the closing statements. So, gentlemen, if you would like to start, maybe we'll start in reverse order.
Suzanne, I have a question. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, hold on. One more. Yeah, since this lady over here mentioned services, what do our taxes go for? Because my understanding was that they went to help out the schools and the medical facilities. So what are these appraisal taxes? Next time I open it.
Okay, first of all, the appraisal district sets the appraised value of all the property. They don't do the taxing. The taxing entities impose the tax on everybody. So we have nothing to do with the taxes. What we do, the appraisal district, is establish the basis that the taxing authorities use to calculate their taxes. So what we're saying is, we want, I'm going to speak for all of us, we want these appraisals to be fair to everybody. Right now, it's our belief that they've not been fair. So we're not the ones taxing you. The taxes, the CCISD taxes you.
Right.
The city taxes you. The county taxes you. They use your money. We don't impose a tax. We don't charge you. We charge the taxing entities for our services. We don't charge you. However, you're absorbing any cost that we incur because we charge the taxing entities and they have to increase the taxes. But we're going to work on that. That's the budget part. So, in summary, we don't tax you. That's the taxing authorities. Be careful who you vote for. Thank you.
I want to tell you something that's going to anger you real quick.
Yeah.
When I was down there arguing for my taxes, about my property taxes, the young man who probably lives in an apartment, maybe doesn't even live in Nueces County, I don't know. Either he's misunderstood or he spoke correctly and he wasn't supposed to, okay? What he said was the taxing of the schools, the fire, medical, police, name it, all of it, that's what we pay for. He said they all set their budgets, and then, which is exactly backwards as it should be, then they come to the appraisal district and say, here's what we need, go get it.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works. It doesn't work like you think it works. It works completely backwards. They go to the little piggy bank, which is the appraisal district, goes to us, gets in our pocket, goes back, and hands it out. That's how it works.
Wow.
So, yeah, and that's very important to know, and that's why we really have to change that. And that's why we need to have our taxpayer advocates in our elected officials, not piggy bank of the taxing entities like we have so far. So,
It's
thank you for that.
dishonest to raise the appraisals and not the taxes,
Yeah.
right? It's a completely dishonest
Yes,
process.
absolutely.
It's a shell game.
That's all, yeah. So, will you go, were you doing your closing statements? Yeah.
I think Ed was answering the question.
Yeah, okay.
Closing statement.
Closing statements.
Okay, my name's Ed Bennett again, I'm running for position number 3. Again, my expertise goes back to budgets and policy. The requirements of a board member is to understand the budget and change the policies. We need a coalition to change the policies. We need 5 votes. This will give us 3, but we need 5. So it's very important that everybody go out and vote for the conservative Republicans, because if you don't go out and vote, the other side, which people call liberals, socialists, I think they all fall under the communist umbrella somewhere. Those folks are going to vote. And that's not going to be reflected on your tax appraisals very well. So vote for me. Thank you.
Again, my name is James Magill, and I am seeking everybody's vote here this evening for my place at the Nueces County Appraisal District Board, Place 1. And I firmly believe there's no better advocate than a real estate agent that has been here understanding property values for almost 8 years now. And at that, I understand the pulse of the community and the needs and the wants of the community when it comes to property value. And I am here to represent the community in the entire Nueces County to address the property value situation and problem that we have going on today. And again, my name is James McGill, and I'm a supporter of the Republican Party, and I'm running for Nueces County Appraisal District Board, Place 1. I would appreciate your vote.
My name's John Cudd, I'm running for Place 2. This right behind us. I can't be bullied, persuaded, bribed. There's nothing that's going to alter me following this. Absolutely nothing. Nobody has anything I want. I will follow this to the T. I signed a pledge to do it. And I look forward to your vote. Place 2, John Cudd. Thank you.
My name is Ken L. Baker. I'm running for Appraisal District, Place 3. This vote coming up is very historical. For the first time in the state of Texas, you're going to have 3 elected people on the appraisal board. That has never happened before. That is very historical. And thanks to the Texas legislature for enacting that, bringing that forward, because they could see a problem. And that's the reason why they did it. Over my experience, I've managed people all my life. I've managed employees, I've managed budgets. I know how to reprimand people, and I know how to fire people. I've done it my entire career. If people are not doing the job they're supposed to be doing, you're out, period. That's it. I have a lot of expertise. Thank you.
I'm going to ask a naive question. So there's multiple places. Do we get to vote for each of the places?
So, yes, I can answer that. Yes, you have 3 different places. You have 11 candidates, and forgive if I mix up the order. I think 4 are running for Place 1, 3 are running for Place 2, and 4 are running for Place 3. So you will choose 1 for each of the places.
Okay, so on the island we get to pick one
3.
for each of the places?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's an important question. And one thing we did not talk about, and I don't know if you know more about it, but I think normally every year one of them will be up for renewal. So the first year they draw, and one of them is elected for just 1 year, one for 2, and one for 3. And from then on, they have 3-year terms, I think, and every year you will have to vote for a new one. Is that correct?
That's correct. I did want to mention I am, and my fiance and I are property owners here on North Cudd Drive. Very well aware we are 100% backing North Cudd Island and have our hands in the game out here as far as we want to see it just get better. And with that, the property taxes out here are outrageous.
Yeah.
It's only going to get better if we can get that under control. So.
Great. You will make their ranking happy because that was his big concern. We have nobody among the people you endorse that from the island and know our problems. So I'm glad to hear that.
Of the 10 people who are running, are these the most conservative that we have?
Yes.
Thank you all.
Yes.
And John, you had me at, I've never had.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say.
If I can address that real quick. On behalf of the Nueces County Republican Party, we, until this election, we had never endorsed a nonpartisan candidate of any kind. And so we, foreseeing not just this election, but the upcoming one, the other important elections, obviously this year, at the end of this month, or May, and also in November, we rewrote our bylaws. And Suzanne was a big part of helping us do that. And so we rewrote our bylaws to be able to get involved in nonpartisan issues, right? We took a strong stance and resolution to vote against Proposition A this past November, and we helped turn the tide. And we had not ever endorsed a nonpartisan candidate, ever. And so our first 3 that we've endorsed are the same that the Republican coalition has endorsed, which is place 1, place 2, and place 3. James Magill, John M. Cudd, and Ed Bennett. I've known Mr. Baker for years. He used to sit, when I was on city council, he used to sit there all the time. And, you know, I knew we were doing okay when he was smiling. When he wasn't smiling, we weren't doing okay. So I have a lot of respect for him too, and it takes a lot of strength to sit in. But I think he's done a great job of reaching out to people too. But we endorsed 3 nonpartisan candidates, and that's a big thing for the party. We vetted all of them. We had applications and questionnaires. And so we've gone through all their personal voting records in terms of primaries, and so we wouldn't support a non-conservative. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for the question. As you may know, until this year, we were the only Republican group to do endorsement in non-partisan races and in primaries. The Republican Party still cannot endorse in primary, that's the law, but they will now endorse in non-partisan races. We are very happy for that. We don't feel that as a competition, we feel that as a reinforcement because it shows that now we have a real Republican Party that fights for the voters, not just as bureaucratic paperwork like we had before. So, and that is reflected in the results we had in the primaries. So we are very glad to see that change. And yes, we will try whenever possible to align our position. It wouldn't look really good to have 2 Republican groups, but we'll try to deal it out until we arrive to some agreement, I'm sure. So, but yes, we have always had as a rule, our rule was we endorse the most conservative candidate who has a chance to win, first pass to victory in the primaries and in the general election, because it's useless to win in the primaries if you're going to lose to a Democrat in the general election. So that was a 3-step requirement for us. So thank you everybody. Thank you. Yeah, thank you to all the candidates for coming. thank you to all of you. Please do not forget, as you leave, to take a yard sign with a stake. Take as many of the voter guides you can. And if you are willing to help us to hand out those on election day, please let us know. Thank you. Good night.